We've heard it over and over again. A recession is looming if we're not in one already. And with persistent inflation, higher prices making everything more expensive, Americans are now going into record debt just to get by. Credit card balances jumping 15% in the third quarter, the biggest year-over-year increase that we've seen in more than 2 decades. And joining me now is Vicki Gunvalson, president and founder of Coto Insurance and Financial Services and spokesperson for Debt.com. Vicki, thanks so much for coming on the show today. Look, it's a big topic of conversation, especially around the holidays. And so what are your top tips to bring down debt for consumers?
Yeah, it's a really difficult time for a lot of people. And I've been seeing debt increasing just even with my clients. And so what we try to do is just the old saying is, make more and spend less and you should be okay. The problem is people have lost their jobs. People have had to get the credit card debt, borrow money from their homes just to live the lifestyle that they've been used to living. So, we might have to downsize our homes. Actually, I did that last year. It was a difficult task, but I did it. I'm all about saving for the unknown, preparing for the unknown, which could be health issues or loss of job. We used to say 3 to 6 months in your savings account for the unforeseen. And now we're saying, experts and ourselves are saying, let's look at 12 months. How do we do that when we're barely, keeping afloat? So there are some tools that we can do through Debt.com/Vicki. And a lot of it's debt consolidation, maybe transferring some balances to a lower credit card interest rate, taking personal loan, consolidating, stop spending on things that you don't need. My dad always used to tell me, do that or else you're going to have to sell things that you need just to get by. And we don't want that to have to happen. But we do see, I'm not only, working in the insurance industry, but I get people prepared for retirement. So in that model, we have to see, do you have a lot of debt? Can you stop working at 62 to 66? I don't know, but that is a big deal for a lot of people. We're not saving enough for retirement. It's just you've got to have those tools in place. And I'm fortunate enough to be in this industry for 32 years. We've seen the recession. We've seen the stock market go up. We've seen it go down. So that's a big deal.
Okay, so let's talk this. I mean, clearly in the third quarter, we did see credit card debt balloon. We also saw GDP growth, the strongest in that quarter that we've seen throughout the entire year. But the concern is that more layoffs might be on the horizon. The stock market might fall further. That could lead to more layoffs at companies across the board. And so what should consumers be prepared for, Vicki? It might be bad now. How much worse could it get?
Well, I think it can get a lot worse. And unfortunately, a lot of people are thinking that we're out of this. We're not out of this. Credit card debt, as you mentioned, is up. It's over $930 billion. I mean, that's huge. And some people are paying 20 to 25 to 30% interest, and they're only paying the minimum just so they don't ruin their credit card. So what they can do now is stop spending. Don't worry about Christmas. Christmas and the holidays should be about spending time with your family. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. If you get gifts you don't want, see if you can take it back for cash. Put that cash in a savings account. Don't re-spend it on something else you don't need. The eBay is popular nowadays. A lot of my clients are selling things on eBay because they can get immediate cash for things that they're not using. Debt.com is super qualified to talk to people. We're able to consolidate debt. And that's why I've partnered with them, is because there is a need for this in the world, really, to consolidate and stop spending, teaching people how to be responsible with money. And I think that's what's happened. We've had, low inflation. We've had people just making money in these Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies, and they just spend. And now everything's starting to go down, and they're not used to being on a budget. I'm a big budgeter. I budget everything I do. If it's not my budget, I don't do it.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
We have this great full screen, Vicki, the average consumer debt across different categories, credit cards, mortgages. I hope we can pull it up here and we can walk through some of these numbers. So the debt type, household debt averaging $96,000, mortgage $231,000, auto loan $21,000, credit card about $6,500. When it comes to paying down these different types of debt, what should get priority?
Well, the ones with the highest interest rate. I mean, I can't believe that you're saying only $6,500 on credit card. We're seeing it much higher in California here, but I know across the country it's more than 6,500. That might be on one credit card, but multiple credit cards is what people are having. So pay down the highest interest first. Then you start chipping away at everything else. If your mortgage has a low interest rate of 2 to 3%, which is what it was the last 10 years, keep that where it's at. I'm not a big believer of dipping into your equity in your homes to start paying off debt, but sometimes we might have to do that. So, and then consolidate. But our team can help figuring out what's the first one to tackle first. For me, I don't have credit cards. I pay it off every month. I don't charge more than I have, and that keeps me in line with what I have to do.
Vicki, my final question here is, I know you mentioned the importance of setting up a budget, that budget should guide you in the financial decisions that you make. How do you go about creating a solid budget that'll work for you?
Yeah, well, Excel spreadsheets are great. Just a pad of paper are great. What is your monthly bills every single month, your consistent ones, your auto payment, your mortgage, your utilities? What's the average over the 12 months? Then you do another column, what's your income? And if your income is less than what your budget is, you got a problem. Therefore, you're not going to start charging. So you got to start chipping away at the expenses that you don't need to. You're going to have to pay your car payment, your insurance, things like that, your health insurance. But the other things, such as going out to eat, I cook more than I have before because I work all day. I cook meals for 2 or 3 times. I bring it to work. I have it for lunch and dinner. I mean, going out is a big deal. That is very expensive. The dining experience has gone down. I think the quality of food's gone down and the expenses are up just for these restaurants to stay in business. So maybe 1 or 2 days a week, I'll do lunch out or dinner out, but the rest of the time I'm cooking. So making soups and making casseroles.
All of those yummy things that make us feel good, especially in these winter months. For those of us who do not have California weather, that's for sure. Vicki Gunvalson, president and founder of Coto Insurance and Financial Services and spokesperson for Debt.com. Vicki, thanks so much.